Whew. Whew. Would you like fries with that? I was having fun with royalty free music. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Fire Program. I am your host, Joe Nierman, a.k.a. Good Logic. I hope you all had a phenomenal day. If you're wondering what I was doing today, you're probably not wondering. Yes, I did spend today just trying to fix all of my tech difficulties, and it seems as if, thank God, and my brother, and audio guy Joe, and God again, it all seems sorted now. It all seems sorted now. I would tell you what happened, what the problem was with my. If you were watching last night, you saw that I had, for the first time in Good Logic history, my camera crashed in the middle of the stream. It just fell down. A light that it's perched above, which is where it's always perched atop a light that gives me that reflection on my glasses and a very healthy rosy glow. That all came crashing down, and bad things ensued. Some of which is that you had to endure basically a half hour of sin trying to carry the show while I was sitting here just going, and then my monitor wasn't working, and then I had to move everything. Anyway, long story short, thank God, it's all resolved. I actually took advice from someone who had suggested I hit a series of buttons, and that reset all my drivers, and then my audio wasn't working, and I was just, oh no. Oh no! Audio guy Joe spent, I don't know, an hour and a half on the phone diagnosing and remedying the problem. But you hear me, which means things are going well. And even better than just hearing me is you also get to hear this guy over here.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, it's Jim tells you. Joining Good Logic for third person Thursdays.
I told you not to follow that person's instructions to reset all your drivers.
Oh my God!
Remember? I said, don't do that.
He meant well.
I know he meant well, but I was like, don't do that, Joe.
Yeah. It was after the show, and I was like, all right, nothing's working here. Let me try this, and it didn't really go.
Yeah. Actually, I was worried that it was possible. The reason I didn't want you to do the reset drivers thing is because Windows has been having issues lately where they will, when it goes to updates and stuff, where they actually, like some different things, different equipment, because everything's made by different companies and they have different updates and stuff. So they won't certify it, and they won't, because of Windows security, they won't let it in. And so they block it out. And then it's a real pain to get it to work once so it gets bad. You have to basically uninstall everything, start reinstalling stuff, and it gets really, really bad.
Yeah, I had to redo my whole sound system. I thought I was going to have to go on a shopping trip today. I was like, and frankly, it helped that Lady Logic dug up a new HDMI cord for me. But it was like the cord, I was trying different monitors, different cords, using different ports in my computer. Nothing was working, and it was astonishing just how nothing was working. But my brother figured out the monitor situation. He's a computer guy.
This is why I say, and I still believe that computers, integrated circuits, microchips, all that stuff, we took it from aliens. Because no, seriously, I mean, they don't understand why it works. They go that's why there's constant updates. They have to constantly keep updating, because that's what happens when you reverse engineer something. You don't really understand how it works and how it functions. You just kind of, this does this, let's do this, and you're constantly trying to keep up with how to make it work. And that's what it seems like to me with computers. Yeah.
Anyway, tonight we have some serious fallout hitting Hillary and the elites over the Epstein files. That's right. She was brought down today to testify before Congress and start answering some questions as to her relationship with Epstein. And there's also a whole bunch of other elites who are facing tighter and tighter scrutiny over the Epstein files. So it was like, look, there's enough on it today that I was like, that's what the show is today. That's pretty much that's what the show is. That's what we got to cover. I've been working very, very hard also, like harder than usual on stuff that no one has seen yet. but I'm working very, very hard on this video where I'm taking care of the transcript of the Kid Cudi testimony.
Oh, okay.
So, like working really long hours around the clock, just trying to get it to look like polished and just really awesome with really good AI, so it sounds like Kid Cudi testifying and everything. It sounds like you feel like you're in the courtroom. So I think I'm very, very pleased with how it's going, but it's a lengthy process. It's a really lengthy process. So yeah, I've been working very long days this week in particular, trying to get this thing done. It was the end of the month, and I need to sort of like, I was hoping to get it out by tomorrow. I don't know that I will. I'm sensing I might not, because I'm being a little bit too much of a perfectionist. But anyhow, we have that. We also have today a goal. Our goal is 15 super chats, Rumble Rants, Digger Dollars, Shekels, Shalom Shekels, whatever it is, in units of $10 or more. 15 of them. 15 in units of $10 or more. And I will be doing a show on Saturday night. That's right. So if you're interested in basically making me drag myself out from the cozy nest of my, hanging out with my fam on a Saturday night, in that case, yeah, if that happens, great. I'll be here Saturday night. If not, probably not. I want to share something interesting with you before we get into this. Yesterday I put a poll up, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Okay. I put a poll up about Kash Patel because I knew I was going to be talking about Kash Patel firing people from, the deep staters from the FBI. And I put the poll was this: like, how do you feel about Kash Patel? The deep state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I said, and it was my feelings on. It was just a simple question: my feelings on Kash Patel. 4 choices: as high as ever, dampened. That was option 1. 2 is dampened but still strong. 3 was ugh, real disappointment. And 4 is he's a dog, scrap him. I want to ask you your thoughts. How do you think that poll broke down?
I would think dampened was probably the highest.
Dampened.
Yeah, dampened.
You would think
that's how I feel. Like I thought he would do like I'm hoping that I'm just not aware of what's going on in the background. Like the stuff that came out about the firing of those 10 people and the stuff with the recordings and stuff. Like I want more, but I want these people arrested. They broke laws.
I want to redo this poll here in this chat because this poll fascinated me. It was, okay. We're gonna put it up here. My feelings. I'm gonna copy it again because I can't even believe how this poll came out on Kash. I was just like on Kash Patel. So
well, how did it break out?
I'm gonna share it afterwards. We'll talk about it. We'll come back to it later. High as ever, and then we have dampened. We'll see how well this rivals what I got in my community, but still strong. And then I had ugh, disappointment.
Oh, was it on locals? The poll, or was it on YouTube?
So you're gonna make me like encourage people to go searching around for the results?
No, I just
it was on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I had dog, scrap him.
You heard that someone filed articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi today, right?
No, I did not. I've been busy editing and fixing my computer.
I just saw it on like right before the show went live. I saw something on X. Someone posted it. I don't know if it's true.
It doesn't mean anything. I mean, because it's not.
They file articles of impeachment all the time.
Yeah, they file that every 10 minutes. You don't really think about it. Anyhow, let's get started talking about this. We'll see how that poll pops out. But I have a lot to talk about with respect to her testimony and some of the stuff that came out. Not that anyone knows what she testified to, but let's pop this up and see.
Though, if you want, real quick, there is a short video I have taken from the deposition.
That's not from the deposition.
Oh, you seen it?
No. I just know there's no video from the deposition. And if it's 6 seconds long, that's create with your own grok. Yeah, okay. Let's see
here,
what we got.
All right, ready?
Trump is guilty.
Okay.
Trump.
See, that's all she said. That's her only answer.
Why would I punish a fellow follower? No support. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, so.
Oh, this is from Fake POTUS. Never mind.
That wasn't him. That wasn't her. When you see a 6-second clip, you know it's AI. That's Grok AI right there. They do 6 and 10-second clips. What do you got?
This is Comer talking after the deposition. I don't know if you want to go with this now or you want to wait till later.
No, actually, what I wanted to start with was I was thinking we should start with let's start with her statement that she made before.
Oh, yeah,
I've not yet read it.
I haven't seen it either, so this will be new.
I haven't read it, and I think it'll be an interesting thing to sort of see. So I'm thinking that maybe we should just start there, and that way we can we'll see how much BS she was laying out before she actually walked in there, because there was a lot of it. That was where did you have that? You had that under. Am I looking the wrong thing? I am looking the wrong thing. I was looking yesterday's. Okay. The Gateway Pundit brought it out, right?
There was several different ones that had it, but I don't know.
Right. We'll go with Gateway Pundit. We'll go with them. What is this? At the stage. Okay. Hillary Clinton released her opening statement to the House Oversight Committee ahead of her deposition on Jeffrey Epstein. The Clintons caved to House Oversight Chairman James Comer and agreed to testify. This month in committee's Epstein investigation, Bill and Hillary agreed to testify before the Oversight Committee after Chairman James Comer moved forward to hold them in criminal contempt. So it's not like she was just like coming so willfully. But here was her statement. Secretary Clinton's opening statement to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. Mr. Chairman, ranking member, members of the committee, as a former senator, I have respect for legislative oversight. You don't have any respect for legislative oversight. That's good. That's complete crap. For legislative oversight, I expect to exercise, as do the American people, to be principled and fearless in pursuit of truth and accountability. Yeah, that's why she was foaming at the mouth and frothing at the Benghazi hearings, right? As we all know, however, too often congressional investigations are partisan political theater, which is an abdication of duty and insult to the American people. Is literally zero. I'm wondering if we'll get like literally zero all night. It could be. If the people speak, the people speak. The committee is justified its subpoena to me based on its assumption that I have information regarding the investigations into the criminal activities of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Let me be as clear as I can. I do not. So of course you're not going to admit that you know anything. As I stated in my sworn declaration on January 13th, I had no idea about the criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, homes, or offices. I have nothing to add to that. Well, you certainly spoke to him, right?
Wasn't Ghislaine Maxwell at her daughter's wedding?
Ghislaine, yes.
Ghislaine was it Ghislaine?
That's what some people have called her. She's not. You're not the first one to come up with that, to notice that. Yeah. Like every decent person, which she isn't, I've been horrified by what we have learned about their crimes. Well, what do you mean their crimes? Who's they? Oh, you're talking about Ghislaine. I thought she was talking about Jeffrey and Bill. I wasn't sure what. It is unfathomable that Mr. Epstein initially got a slap on the wrist in 2008, which allowed him to continue his predatory practices for another decade. Mr. Chairman, your investigation is supposed to be assessing the federal government's handling of the investigations and prosecutions of Epstein and his crimes. I think we want to know why he's giving you millions of dollars. I think that's really the key question here, though.
I saw a great video. I think you saw it too, about showing that Epstein's ties to the like Iran-Contra and the cocaine and the cartels and all that stuff. Like, I'm sure that's how Clinton knew Epstein was, from the drugs being brought into Mena, Arkansas through what was his name?
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw him as an arms dealer.
Oh, it's an arms dealer, but he also was involved in the arms the cocaine, the whole cocaine coming into the U.S. was to buy the arms to do Iran-Contra. That's where the money went. That's what the money was for. The drugs was for the guns.
Drugs for money for guns.
Right.
All right. I mean, that.
And Clinton was deeply tied. That's why the CIA didn't mind having, they pushed him, Bush out for him because he was just as involved in their crap as Bush was. Senior.
Your investigation is supposed to be assessing the federal government's handling the investigation and prosecution of Epstein and his crimes. You subpoenaed 8 law enforcement officials, all of whom ran the Department of Justice or directed the FBI when Epstein's crimes were investigated and prosecuted. Of those 8, only 1 appeared before the committee. 5 of the 6 former attorney generals were allowed to submit brief statements stating they had no information to provide. You have held 0 public hearings, refused to allow the media to attend them, including today, despite espousing the need for transparency on dozens of occasions. Well, at least he's doing something, right? That's a start. You made little effort to call the people who show up most prominently in the Epstein files. Most prominently, this is something the left loves to basically tout, like how often someone comes up in the Epstein files, specifically Donald Trump, without noting the context in which they're coming up. Like, it's over and over again of him basically cursing out Trump. That's not a stain. There's nothing staining, but they love to say in the files. Yeah,
there's a lot of crazy people who made claims in the files that were proven to be all BS.
Oh yeah, I actually have something on that I plan on addressing tonight. You made little effort to call the people who show up most prominently in Epstein files, and when you did, not a single Republican member showed up for Les Wexner's deposition. The institutional failure is designed to protect one political party and one public official rather than seek truth and justice for the victims and survivors, as well as the public who also want to get to the bottom of the matter. My heart breaks for the survivors. I am furious on their behalf. Where were you during the Biden administration? Ooh. You're so furious on their behalf.
Wait. Remember hack. The survivors of Bill Clinton, the people that what she called those women?
Survivors? What about those survivors? What about the people who had to endure your husband? What about
she call them money grubbing trailer trash or something like that?
She wasn't furious on their behalf. She was furious at them. All of Bill Clinton's victims. I spent my life advocating for women and girls while trashing anyone who actually had the audacity to be upset with the way my husband treated them. I've worked hard to stop the terrible abuses so many women and girls face here. Oh my God. Oh I need to find this clip now. I need to stop. We need to stop. I need to find this clip. I need to find a clip. I didn't know it was going to go here. I told you I hadn't read it beforehand. I didn't know it was going to go here. I need to find this audio of Hillary. We're clearing close. I always have it. I don't like that sound.
That's something connecting and disconnecting from your computer.
Yeah, that's what you say. All right. I want you to hear. This is Hillary Clinton back long before she was first lady. This is in the 1980s when she was a lawyer. Okay. This is an audio clip of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, I know which one this is.
The woman's rights advocate.
Yes.
Okay.
When she was advocating for the.
So over here, she's defense counsel for an alleged rapist. Okay.
Well, the guy got convicted, didn't he? So it's not alleged anymore.
She's defense. I'm not sure. I don't know what happened. And there's an audio recording of her talking about their defense, which you need to hear. Okay. This is it. I know you don't hear it yet. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
You're saying a while ago you've done some criminal work. Can you tell me a little about that? What sort of...
I didn't do much, but I taught criminal law and criminal procedure.
Listen to how Arkansas and she sounds when she's talking here, right? So you've done some criminal work. Can you tell me a little bit about that? What sort? Okay.
I did some, I never did a criminal trial. I did, jury trial. I did, probable cause hearings, other cases. I had some really tough clients. I had one appear that the prosecutor called me years ago and said that he had a guy who was accused of rape. And the guy wanted a woman lawyer. But I do it as a favor to him.
That's really odd.
Terrible case. You remember that case where I represented that guy?
By the way,
That's
not odd at all. You want a female attorney in order to get, sympathy.
Isn't it odd that a prosecutor would call her and say this guy wants a female attorney? Why is a prosecutor calling her? That's odd.
Yeah, that is a little. I guess that is odd. Yeah, unless she said a former prosecutor. Prosecutor. Yeah, that is weird.
That seems like a conflict of interest.
I mean, I guess maybe they were trying to find counsel to work pro bono. So she was like, he was asking her, and he needs to fund. He can't move his case along until she has an attorney.
I represented that guy. It was a fascinating case. It was really an interesting case. This guy was accused of raping a 12-year-old.
You didn't hear that wrong. Is accused of doing this to a 12-year-old.
Was the daughter of the family he was living in Springfield. They lived on the side of the tracks in Springfield. And the guy was from Green Forest. His family still had a little farm.
This is the women's rights advocate, children and women's rights advocate, Hillary Clinton.
I can't get over the chameleon-like way she changes her accents. Like, holy shit, this is what you call like a deceptive, an actress.
It could be that she developed a more common speaking accent once she got more into political life. To be fair,
she's originally from Illinois, Joe.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She went to high school in a suburb right by O'Hare, like right outside, like right near Skokie.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But let's hear more from this women's rights advocate, Hillary Clinton.
Ruthless folks who wasn't going to make a living on the land, and he was kind of around. Ended up in Springfield looking. One of the places over there. Of course, he claimed that he did all this stuff. He took a lie detector test. I had to take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs.
So she basically had him take a lie detector test, which he passed. And she's like, forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs. As a lawyer, she's already basically looking to suborn perjury. This is what she's saying, because she's like, she knows he did it, and she's basically looking for him to say that he didn't. This is the female rights advocate, Hillary Clinton. It's not that politics made her into vile scum. It's that she was vile scum who decided, oh, politics suits me. That's who Hillary Clinton is. So when she throws out her BS of claiming that she's some sort of freaking human, I spent my life advocating for women and girls. I say you are just vile beyond belief.
Wasn't she originally a Goldwater girl?
I don't even know what that means.
When she first started, she worked for Barry Goldwater when she was like as an aide, or originally when she first started,
I don't know.
I'm just saying, it's just kind of funny.
I don't know what a
Barry Goldwater,
is.
The guy who ran for president, Barry Goldwater. He was against
I heard
the
of
Civil Rights
him.
Act and all
I
that
heard
stuff.
of him. I never heard the phrase Goldwater girl. So I'm a neophyte. Yeah. Let me just grab some of these real quick here. Now I know, push him for Saturday. My fellow follower deserves a day of rest on Saturday. Well, my evening arrest is Friday, so working Saturday night would be okay. I'm not. I appreciate you looking out for me, but I have streamed on Saturday nights before. Hi, Joe and Jim. Today is my birthday. Oh my God, let's give you one of these. Happy birthday, Jimmy! 66. Yikes. I received my PET scan results instructions today. PET scan results identical to November. That's a good thing, right? I think that's a good thing. Inflammation or residual tumor. Repeat PET scan in May. I hope that's a good thing. I assume that's a good thing. Is that a good thing, Kimmy? I don't know. I assume it. To me, it sounds like that's a good thing. Uzelian sending a $10 one. That's true. That counts. Epstein was part of a DEA investigation along with 14 others about money trafficking tied to the cartels. I think this ties into what you were talking about earlier. Yep. He's tying into, he shares this link here because Uzelian does that. He doesn't just tell me stuff. He shares links all the time. He's like really good about that. Jeffrey Epstein was subject of a DEA probe that spanned at least 5 years, heavily redacted document. So that ties into what you were saying. So let's wrap up her stupid statement here because we need to know her truth. Including, so I worked hard to stop the terrible abuses so many women and girls face here and around the world, including human trafficking, forced labor, and sexual slavery. Should we talk about Pizzagate? Should we talk about that?
Pizzagate is the thing, man.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sick of like when you hear about the pictures and
I need to have a conversation with you about it now. We're gonna have a conversation about it right now, okay?
Right.
Do you want to give the audience a brief overview for those of you who are not familiar with exactly what Pizzagate is? You want to give them a brief overview?
Well, okay, first I'll start at the end where the guy who broke the story claiming Pizzagate was all a fraud ended up going to prison for kiddie porn. So there's that. Okay, now back to the beginning. There was this place called Comet Pizza in D.C. where supposedly there was orders coming in for cheese pizza, you know, stuff like that. And they would ask for certain things, boys, girls, blah, blah, blah. And it was Comet Ping Pong and Pizza or something like that. And it was frequented by John Podesta and his brother Tony. And they have a lot of...
Now, if you think about what the initials, the acronym of cheese pizza would be, it's a Comet, and even Comet Pizza, that it's a reference to something that's the most heinous and vile thing a human can do, including the first word would be child. Mm-hmm. So that's where this is going. Just giving you a heads up, but please continue.
Yeah. And then there's like a lot of other, you know, like basically there was this whole thing going on with the Podestas, and the Podestas are known to have a lot of very odd artwork in their homes depicting children performing disgusting acts, let's say.
Not actual illegal to own.
No, well, it's not pictures, they're paintings.
Paintings.
I guess that skirts the rule.
I assume so. I don't know. But that's just the start of it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's you know, and there was just this whole thing. There was an investigation. Someone ended up going there.
And because there's different code words that folks who engage in this lifestyle tend to use when they're referring to little boys, little girls, and there was all these weird conversations about all the, you know, the
right.
pizza.
Then there was a shooter that went there and like basically shot something, but the only thing that got hit was the computer and destroyed a hard drive. So if there was any information on the hard drive, they didn't have it. So it seems very sketchy to me. Like that might have been a setup. I don't know. But basically they said, oh, well, the people claim there was a basement. There's no basement there, so case closed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, and there's all these different emails which were found on Hillary's server, which make references to bizarre parties and parties that seem to be like, there's a very big fixation about people using the word cheese pizza. Not pizza, cheese pizza. Like whoever says cheese pizza, you don't even see. If I'm talking to you, I would just say if you're referring to a pizza that has nothing on it, you just say pizza. You don't call it cheese pizza. No one does. So using that term in general is a very strange phrase. I don't know. Look, at least in my circles, I never hear anyone talk about cheese pizza rather than you would just call cheese pizza pizza. Yeah. So anyway, there was all this speculation because it was emails amongst the elites that it was, and this was really the birth of QAnon, because basically they were engaged in this whole expose where they were saying, look at these sickos. They're basically talking about abusing children and some stuff, including like, cannibalism. I mean, just crazy.
Well, QAnon was like it was like, I don't know if it was Wayfair or it was some company, and they had like names of people who were missing, and they said you could buy this for like $50,000 for this thing. It's like, wait, why would this dresser be $50,000? This doesn't make any sense. It's like, this is something that's out there for people to see and buy, but it's not like the actual item. I don't know. Was it Wayfair or was it other company? I can't remember. It was like a company where they were selling like furniture.
Yeah.
Like different. I can't. Was it Wayfair? Okay.
I don't know. Anyhow, so yeah, so when you hear people talking about Pizzagate, it's basically a reference to Comet Pizza and all those emails that were found on her server, which included conversations which seemed like a very weird thing to have in private conversations about some weird stuff. So the reason I started this question with you is I wanted to ask you, like, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being complete disbelief, it's bunk, and we'll say 0 to 10. Okay, 0 to 100. How much credibility do you give to the whole Pizzagate story?
I'd say it's probably a 7.
So you say 7? You mean 70?
Like 70% likely that it happened. I mean, I'm just looking at what all these people do and what they're up to and all the other stuff and how they're constantly getting arrested for shit. You look at like Scott Wiener in California, like the convicted guy that's trying to run in California, Bill Clinton, all these other people, the different, and this is just not Democrats either. There was the Republican, what was his name? The guy that was the Speaker of the House, Hastert, that was doing nasty things to kids. Like it seems like a problem.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah. It does seem like a problem. It does. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'm much lower than that. I don't rule it out. I'm probably at like 30 to 40%. That's where I'm at on it. I think it's less likely than, but I think the people who like laugh at the notion are crazy. I think you're crazy if you laugh at the notion that that's totally impossible.
Right. I mean, I should probably what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying that the entire thing is true. What I'm saying is, whenever they do this, there's truth in there. There's always some truth, and they always try to make it so obscene that it's like it's ridiculous.
Right.
Like the whole QAnon thing. There probably was some truth to this about missing kids and all this other stuff.
But they went retarded.
They went retarded on it and made so basically to just discredit everybody. Like, it's kind of what this whole Epstein thing did with some of these people that they're putting out there. They're going retarded with it when there's actually some stuff there that should be looked at.
Yeah, there's stuff that should be there, but then they throw in Elvis, and you're just like, what the hell's happening here?
Yeah, they're like, oh, John F. Kennedy Jr. still alive. It's like,
yeah,
okay, now you're
yeah. It's like that was part of what QAnon came up with, was like this. He's still alive. Here he is. And it's just like ridiculous kind of stuff. But then I think to myself, yeah, you can't just wash away some of the stuff that they're saying here because it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And so let's not pretend that this does make sense, that this is a normal thing. So anyway, what does it mean? It makes you want to hurt people. What is that? I'm almost done with talking about that. Relax, chill. We're gonna be okay here. Jay Trolloc saying locals, Johnny loves locals. You get more percent. That is true. I do get more percent through locals. He says there, Johnny is very sad that no one asked Hillary, when you were Secretary of Defense or in any government office, did you believe Epstein was a government asset for the U.S. or any other country? That is what we really, really want to know.
Did anyone ask her about the money? I don't know about the money that why did he say he set up the Clinton Global Initiative? That's really
the question, right? I mean, that's really the question. I don't think she's involved. I don't think she's personally involved in any of his nefarious illegal stuff involving children. I'm simply, but I do want to know what
you have to ask yourself, Joe. Why did she stay with Bill Clinton all these years? Why did she allow him to do all the things he did openly and flaunt it, unless she was doing the same shit, but maybe on the other side? Maybe she's...
It's funny. I'll tell you this much. I actually think of her as being an asexual individual. Like I that's really how I'm talking about. I gotta look from. I'm talking about Hillary Clinton here.
I know.
No, I gotta look from Lady Logic. She walked in right when I said
with
that.
Webb Hubble, because she had, Chelsea was Webb Hubble's daughter.
I assume Chelsea came that they actually ripped off a piece of her body and she grew from that. Like I don't assume she's human. Like I think it's very possible that they basically cut off a lump that was growing on her leg and then just nurtured it in an incubator, and voila, there's Chelsea. Like there's probably some evidence to that. We just need to look further into it. So, will any politician demand to see Wiener laptop? You see, when you even call it the Wiener laptop, that just makes people say no, we don't want to see that. We really don't. I don't want to see that. But maybe it should. I'm not saying it shouldn't be looked at by some specialists. But everything about when you put those two words in a sentence, I say zero interest here. I have zero interest. Anything called the Wiener laptop, and I know you're referring to former politician Scott Wiener, but yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. We don't know what they asked. Should we finish up with her stupid statement here?
Sure.
All right. For too long, these have been largely invisible crimes, not treated as crimes at all, but survivors are real and they're entitled to better. And you're going to make sure she laughs at the idea of this guy laughing as a child rapist, like skimming through his polygraph. In Southeast Asia, I met girls as young as 12 years old who were forced into prostitution and raped repeatedly. Yeah, that's why people wonder about Bill going there on the Lolita Express, because he literally was going all over Southeast Asia. And that's not a funny thing. I was laughing at that she's bringing up Southeast Asia, where there's literally flight logs of Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express flying all over Southeast Asia. Some were dying of AIDS in Eastern Europe. I met mothers who told me how they lost daughters trafficking and did not know where to turn. And I'm sure you did nothing with your foundation to actually help any of these people, because your foundation never helped anyone. In settings around the world, I met survivors trying to rebuild their lives and help rescue others with little support from people in power who too often turn a blind eye to cold shoulder. I'm really getting sick and just reading. How much more of this idiocy is there? Oh my God. So much bunk. I don't want to hear about her stupid lies about combating sex trafficking. As Secretary of State, I appointed a former federal prosecutor, Lou. Is that really how you spell someone's name? Sidabaka? To ramp up our global anti-trafficking efforts, I offered nearly 170 anti-trafficking programs in 70 nations and directly pressed foreign leaders to crack down on trafficking networks in their countries. I never heard about this. You would think when she was running for president, we would have heard about this, but no one did. No one talked about this. All I know about her, seriously, there's scandal after scandal after scandal, from Whitewater to the poor victim with Monica Lewinsky, to all the stuff happening where she's threatening other interests of Clinton, to Benghazi, to the foundation scandals. She's just like she's made a career out of just jumping in and out of scandals while accomplishing nothing. So she oversaw nearly 170 anti-trafficking programs in 70 nations. What does that mean? I oversaw. I don't know what that means. It means I was aware of them. Like, is she running them? What does that mean? She didn't create them. If she created them, we would know she had. Directly pressed foreign leaders to crack down on trafficking networks in their countries. Yeah, I'm sure you were very successful in that. Every year we publish a global report to shine a light on abuses. The findings in those reports triggered sanctions of countries failing to make progress. They became a powerful diplomatic tool to drive concrete action. Good Lord. I'm getting bored. Honestly. I can't. If I'm bored by this, I assume you're bored by it too.
Yeah, it's just all lies, and
it's just silliness. It's just utter silliness. All right. What do you have for us next?
Oh, I don't have anything right now. I mean, I have the video from Comer. You want to watch the video from Comer? If you want to pull up my screen, this is the rant thing I was telling you about. I have it on your screen too for your show. So this is so you would see your rants to come in. See?
Oh, cool.
This is how it would pop up. So I could show you later. I'll show you how to. It's real simple.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll keep this up. That way, if any more rants come in, you can just pop them up. So
cool.
Here, I'll share this one though. So here, you want to do this? Comer's
cool.
Statements.
Yeah, let's go.
Documents. Then the motion was amended by Scott Perry to include subpoenas for various names. I think there were 8 names originally, including Bill and Hillary Clinton. Everyone that was included in that subpoena has already either been interviewed by the Oversight Committee or sent in a statement that they had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of the investigation except the Clintons. We worked for 6 months to get the Clintons to come in, and then they acted like they were going to come in, and then they didn't show up. And obviously we moved to hold the Clintons in contempt. And I think one thing that surprised the Clintons, they assumed the Democrats on the committee would vote in a partisan manner and not vote to hold the Clintons in contempt. And what they learned was a majority of the Democrats on the committee either voted to hold the Clintons in contempt or voted present. And I think that's a statement that this investigation is serious. It is a bipartisan investigation. The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process, but we have a lot of questions in the.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought that was supposed to be. I have other ones, but
that happens. Yeah. No, that's cool.
That's all. I don't understand it. Oh, wait, is this? Wait. Oh, here it is. This is our deposition has concluded. Okay, here it is.
Ah, that's happened.
I thought that one was.
Our deposition has concluded. It's a shame that it took 7 months to get Miss Clinton in.
That's why that's why they tricked me, Joe, because it's the same people standing in the same order on both freaking videos, and I go, "Oh, this one's longer. I'll play the longer one."
Right. I feel you.
Answered most of our questions. I'm going to let some of my colleagues lament on that, but we're going to not release too many details of what happened today. We're going to try to get the video out as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 24 hours. That's a very long deposition. So as quick as we can get that video produced, we will get that out. The transcript will be released as soon as her attorneys approve it. That's the standard rules of a deposition. And I think that I think this was a productive deposition today. I think we learned a lot. There were a lot of questions that we asked that we weren't satisfied with the answers that we got, but we will continue to move forward. Any of my comments? Our deposition.
All right. Well, that's it. So I mean, you know that he's basically not going to give us much. He's not going to give us much. But Hillary Clinton came out afterwards, and she gave a statement where she came out and talked about her deposition. So she spoke for 8 minutes about this, or a little less than that, before she cut it short.
Alive now.
Well, I have just finished testifying. I answered every one of their questions.
Obviously, you don't have a choice. You make it like that's some big accomplishment.
Yeah, but the answer could have been I plead the fifth on everyone.
Well, yeah.
That is an answer.
That would be an answer.
Or I don't recall.
I'm sure she said that a lot. I mean, she keeps saying, I don't recall ever meeting Jeffrey Epstein. I explained to my audience, I think a week ago, what it means when someone, especially an attorney, says, I don't recall in a deposition. What she's actually saying is, I don't think you have proof that this happened. I'm hoping you don't, but in case you do, I don't remember. Which you can't catch me on perjury because I'm just saying I don't remember right now. It may have happened. I just don't remember. But it reads as a no while still giving you protection from actually being hit with perjury, because even if something did happen, it'd be like, oh, that did happen? So like if if the feces ever comes splattering into the fan with a big that you'd basically like, oh, I didn't remember that. So yeah, she would meet Jeffrey Epstein, the guy who gave her $1 million, and not remember it. I don't recall. She would just say no. You asked me if I ever met Jeffrey Epstein. No. I ever met Trump? No. I never met him. It's really easy. It's not that hard. You tell me you can't remember if you met a billionaire. Guy was worth $1 billion in 1990. He came to the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was there. I don't recall if I've ever met him. She was working in the West Wing. I don't recall if I ever met him. 17 times. You think that this control freak doesn't know that some guy is coming in there 17 times, and then the guy gives her $1 million for a foundation, never meets him? I don't remember that. What it really is I don't think there's proof.
You know what someone should have asked her, Joe? Do you have any hot sauce in your purse?
Can I get some hot sauce? Oh, can I get some hot sauce?
No, but you said you always carry hot sauce in your purse. You're saying that's a lie? You don't always carry hot sauce in your purse, or just not today?
Right.
I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The easy answer is no. But the reason she's not saying no is not because she doesn't remember. It's because she probably does remember meeting him and doesn't think there's any evidence of it.
As fully as I could, based on what I knew. And what I knew is what I said in my statement this morning. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond.
Can you pause for 1 second, Joe? I just had a question. You've had several kids get married, right?
3 of them.
Have you ever invited acquaintances to your kids' weddings?
No.
Okay.
No,
I'm shocked. There's no way possible that she never had any communications with Epstein if Epstein set up the Clinton Global Initiative.
Although I will tell you, she's asked about. There's no way possible. There's no way possible. It's impossible. And I have evidence that shows she's lying about this. Or there is evidence. I don't have evidence uniquely. Like there's evidence that's available online which displays that she's lying in saying that she never met him. But I should say this: when Jews get married, we don't have a concept. Well, let's hear her answer because she gets asked that question about Ghislaine Maxwell.
It was disappointing that they refused to hold a public hearing, so I wouldn't have to be out here characterizing it for you. You could have seen it for yourself. We had asked for that. We think it would have been better for the committee and its efforts to gather whatever information they are seeking.
Why would it be, if she doesn't have any information, why would it need to be public?
Exactly. Correct. Now you're asking the right questions, Jim.
A bit of a challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing at their demand, and one of the members violated that rule, which
violated that rule. You know how it was violated, right?
Somebody took a picture, I think.
Lauren Boebert took a picture and tweeted it out of her sitting there. So that was the big violation. Oh, I feel so violated.
was very upsetting because it suggested that they might violate other.
It wouldn't be an impeachment. It would be prosecution for perjury. It wouldn't be impeachment.
Of our agreements. So we had to cease the hearing for a period of time until we could get assurances that no rules would be broken going forward. And we returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet.
But was it? How do you explain those emails? How would you explain those emails? They were on your server.
Well, how do you explain that the guy that was picked to debunk it for the Washington Post was arrested and charged and went to prison for the exact thing he was debunking? It's odd, right? Odd. Strange.
Yeah. Obviously, I want the Clintons prosecuted, but if Congress does this, isn't it supposed to be related to passing a new law? Legally, how would you steel man the justification? So I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know what she would be prosecuted for. I mean, let's think this through. Like, what crimes does anyone allege that she's committed related to Epstein? Bill, in theory, could have been involved in several violations of the Mann Act. That's very possible. If in fact, he was partaking in some of the excursions that many people believe him to have partaken of. Certainly, if he did it within the confines of the United States, arguably, if he flew them internationally, if they were flown there internationally, if he goes on some trip to Thailand and goes around there engaging in vile conduct with underage girls in Thailand, I don't know that there's a crime. He's disgusting and vile, and he should burn in hell because the guy's satanic. But that's not a crime under American law. It's not an American jurisdiction. It's not an American girl. So I don't know that would actually be something he could be held accountable for. Now, there's all sorts of violations that she committed, which the statute of limitations has almost certainly run on, related to her conduct with respect to breaching security when she was Secretary of State, but all of those have almost certainly run. So the only thing you can get her on is if she commits perjury here and now. And the reason she would commit perjury is not because she's afraid of criminal activity, but because she's a fear of embarrassment. So she tells a lie about Jeffrey Epstein, like, I never met him, and it turns out she did. So that would expose her to perjury.
Well, that's why she didn't say I never met him. She said I don't recall.
Right.
Because I'm sure at one of those 17 times that Jeffrey Epstein was at the White House, that she was there.
Yeah. So, but I don't know that there's any crimes that relate to Epstein per se that the Clintons should be held accountable for. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I haven't heard anyone say, we need to get her on this. No. I mean, I think that during Trump's first term, there probably was a lot of things he could have locked her up for. But at this point in time, I think the statute of limitations on any of those crimes has almost certainly run. So unfortunately, it does not seem as if man will get justice against the Clintons for their vile activities. I don't foresee that happening, not because of elitism. I mean, in the past, perhaps it was protectionism and elitism, but at this point going forward, there's nothing you can do. If you're Pam Bondi, if you tell me, Pam Bondi, go throw one of the Clintons in jail, tell me what crime it is that they've committed within the last 5 years. You're not going to come up with anything. And very few statute of limitations extend beyond 5 years. Even if you say the last 10 years. So, it's very, very hard to come up with anything that you could say that Pam Bondi should be going after the Clintons specifically for. Now, Obama and that whole conspiracy ring that they had there with Brennan and Clapper and Comey, yeah, that I think that there's stuff that can be prosecuted. But with respect to her, no, she's just gross. She's a snake. And she's a vile creature. So I'm totally cool with them embarrassing her. And if she lied to and covered up for that embarrassment and she gets prosecuted for perjury, then that would work. Dan tells you that Jim tells you, so Joe can tell you. That is pretty much the way this whole thing is working tonight. Yes. Yes. Well said. Well done, Danny. It's true. Anyway, let's get back to her little press conference here.
That was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken.
The PROTECT Act under Section 105 authorizes fines and/or imprisonment for up to 30 years for U.S. citizens or legal residents who engage in illicit sexual conduct abroad. Okay, but what's the statute of limitations on that?
Probably 5 or 10 years, I would imagine.
I mean, the Mann Act has no statute of limitations. But
do you think it's funny, Joe, or odd that the Mann Act is called the Mann Act when it's generally woman that gets trafficked?
Yeah, it happens to have two ends. But, yeah. What is the Protect Act statute of limitations? Statute of limitations. Okay, get them. Oh, the Protect Act 2003 effectively eliminated federal statutes, but this is, you're saying Section 105. Section 105. This is taking a long time to load here. Wow, this is just taking forever to load. I don't know why, but it looks like it's 5 years to me. I don't know why it's not loading. I don't know why it's not loading, but it looks as if Section 105 has a 5-year statute of limitation. So I'm not sure about that, and I won't, for one reason or another, I can't get this link to congress.gov to load up. So
maybe they're getting DDoSed or something.
I don't know.
Did you hear about that? That Claude AI, some hackers used Claude AI and ChatGPT to hack into Mexico's computer systems and got all their tax records and all this type of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, that just broke a little while ago. It's like, oh my God,
that's funny.
Again, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed. And in fact,
How would you know that? How would you know that?
the Republican members didn't even show up for the deposition of Les Wexner.
This is nothing. I don't see. I'll ask you this. What do you think Les Wexner, you think Les Wexner was involved with Epstein's sexual activities?
I don't know. I just know that it should be, the Rothschild should be looked into more, especially since they came out what Wexner said about the Rothschild and these other people that said that's who introduced Bill to
That lady Rothschild.
Ladies Rothschild, or this needs to get looked into more, like what was going on, who
I think
who
that's
are, what was going on.
I think that's definitely a fair.
And these are people that have connections
fair
throughout
claim.
many governments throughout the world. Like people that can pick up the phone and talk to a president, talk to a prime minister.
Did you know Buzz? Do you follow Buzz Patterson? No, he carried nuclear football for Clinton, wrote dereliction of duty about his White House time. He tried to testify at these hearings. His stories blow your mind. Says Hillary is vile and smells like kimchi. I don't even know what kimchi is, but it sounds like something no human wants to smell like.
It's fermented cabbage. It's like sauerkraut, but more way.
Okay, that's something I can't get out of my head now. Now I'm just picturing sauerkraut when I'm looking at her. Ooh.
And when I said that, I had to point out that the only questions that any Republican member asked of any of the people they deposed was of former Attorney General Bill Barr, when Chairman Comer asked him about the allegations, in his view, about Russia's involvement in my election in 2016.
That hoax. So she's desperately trying to latch on to that hoax still to this day. My God, she will never get over that. That election destroyed her life.
No one asked Bill Barr about his father's Did he know about his father's connection with Epstein? How he gave Epstein his first job as a professor when he didn't even have a degree? No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was a mathematics professor and never had a degree.
At the very end of this hearing, after I made that point, I want to commend Chairman Comer for raising a series of significant questions that I responded to about the nature of the investigation and the areas that I thought should be explored. So I appreciated that. I
No one cares what you want explored.
want to see the truth come out.
You don't want the truth to come out.
So that was a reassuring way to end a very long, repetitive deposition.
Madam Secretary, you spoke in your opening remarks about how heartbroken you have been for the Epstein survivors as these files come out. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you have processed and reacted to?
She was Secretary of State after he was declared a registered offender. What steps did she take for the survivors in that capacity? Any at all? So worried about the victims.
The fact that the former president, your husband, Bill Clinton, is referenced in the Epstein files numerous times, including in some photos featuring women. And how have you been personally preparing for the deposition that is coming tomorrow? Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal, which, as I said in my statement, had that not happened, perhaps his predatory behavior could have been stopped earlier.
Why didn't you investigate that? Why didn't you call for an investigation of that when you were Secretary of State? Where were you? Oh, because he's funding your stupid foundation.
But
So
I think it is fair to say that the vast majority of people.
Jeffrey Epstein made this woman rich. You need to understand this, okay? This is what's so utterly disingenuous about everything. I mean, everything about this woman is utterly disingenuous. But with regard to this particular issue, okay, they came out of the White House broke. In 2000, they had no money.
So broke, they stole furniture and shit from the White House.
They were ripping it out, like ripping off the wallpaper so they could stick it up on their new home. They had no money. And she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of the Clinton Foundation, which does not get set up but for Jeffrey Epstein coming to them and saying, hey, this is how you can make a lot of money. Because if you go around speaking for a foundation, in that case, you have all sorts of opportunities for people to hire you and give you ridiculously stupid, hefty speaking fees where you get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for speaking for 20 minutes that they're going to give to your donation, and then you don't even have to pay taxes on it. And it's tax-free for them. So they basically throw it into your foundation, and then you ratchet up to have ridiculous overhead that's being paid to you from the foundation as part of your working for the foundation. So you end up charging the foundation millions of dollars a year. You don't charge the speaking fee for yourself. These people will be happy to pay it because they feel like they're getting your influence for you to basically wheedle around and actually help, work with all your crony friends in DC. And then they're going to give you lots of money to basically bribe you to advocate on their behalf. And you're going to get hefty amounts of money. They'll be happy to pay it because it's tax-free. And you'll just charge a ridiculously high salary of millions of dollars per year in order to basically, that you're charging the foundation for your services and helping raising money for the foundation. It's really not that complicated, but that's what he introduced them to. And that's how they made all of their money. That's how they got so rich. I mean, I don't know what if she did. She was involved in insider trading when she was working as a senator. I have no idea. We don't know what the hell these members of Congress get up to once they're in there.
Someone asked why. Why? That's what they better ask Bill Clinton why he broke off contact with Epstein in 2005 or 6 or whatever it was.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened? Because when did Epstein get charged? 2007, 2008. So what happened that you broke off contact with him?
That's a good question. That's a great question. Let's get you in there to ask questions.
I'm just saying. I mean, because that's the thing. It's like, I broke off contact way before. Why? Why did you break off contact? I mean, we know why Trump broke off because the stuff that happened at Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he's a scumbag, kicked him out, and all this other stuff, which happened in the 90s, or I don't know, maybe early 2000s. I don't know.
In the 90s. I think it was in the 90s. So anyhow, Yeah, you're right. There should be an explanation, an explanatory story which walks us through that. But that's why she never wants to go after Epstein. That's why she didn't care about any of his victims. She could have said, hey, why the hell is this guy getting such a sweetheart deal? You think she's going to do that to the guy who made her rich? Now she's sitting here, oh, I feel so angry on behalf of the victims. It's so full of crap.
People who had contact with him before his criminal pleas in 2008 were like most people. They did not know what he was doing. And I think that that is exactly what my husband will testify to tomorrow.
So she's basically telling you Trump did nothing wrong. That's essentially what you're saying here.
Madam Secretary, can I ask? Why was Ghislaine Maxwell?
Do you believe this was a fair hearing? And do you still want to testify publicly, even though you gave this deposition?
Oh, I'm not going to do it again. You know, they had a chance to do it in public, and I wish they had done it in public. And I think they're making the wrong decision, avoiding doing it in public. I thought it was very repetitive. I thought that they asked literally the same questions over and over again, which didn't seem to me to be very productive. And then, as I said, toward the end, you know, there were other questions that were totally off subject. So if they are going to fulfill their responsibilities to literally investigate the investigations, which is what they originally said was the scope of their work, I think they could have spent the day more productively.
Madam Secretary, James Matthews from Sky News. Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to your daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010?
Why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to your daughter's wedding in 2010? Here's a good question. That's finally a nice question that people are like, yeah, we all want to know that one.
She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Who?
Thank you all.
Who?
I'm out of here now. I don't want to hear actual
Who was
real
she the
questions.
+1 of? Who was she the +1 of?
So that's
Jeffrey Epstein?
You asked me whether or not I know, I only invited friends. And I'll tell you right now that to weddings that my family has made. I'll tell you that I invite friends and their spouses. We don't usually have +1. Like in Ortho-Jewish circles, people aren't publicly dating the way that they are in the rest of the world. So it's not like people have a +1. They either come individually or with their spouse. It's very unusual unless they're engaged. But like basically engaged is pretty much, the same thing as a spouse. So we don't have the concept of a +1 the way you have as being the norm. So that's why I would tell you that it's not really a fair comparison. I'll ask you, do you think she was a +1?
No, I don't. And I would like to know who was the +1 of. I would also like to know, we know for a fact that this wasn't like Hillary and Bill and Chelsea sitting in their house licking envelopes and sending out invitations. So there was a wedding planner. There was a guest list. Get the fucking guest list.
There you go.
And see
who
was invited. Was Jeffrey Epstein invited?
How do you get your hands on the guest list?
You'd have to find out who the wedding planner. I'm sure someone could find out who the wedding planner was. It was a big wedding. I'm sure they said this was the wedding planner, bragging about who the wedding planner was. So subpoena the wedding planner.
It could be, though, maybe someone reserved a spot specifically for Ghislaine, that she would still show up as being there even as a +1. I'm trying to just play devil's advocate here. And I mean literally devil's advocate, because I'm fairly certain she's Satan's spawn. So, and I'm advocating on her behalf. So playing devil's advocate, is it possible that someone booked her as a +1 and put her name in?
Someone is saying that she attended with her then boyfriend, tech billionaire, Clinton Foundation donor, Ted Waite. Whoever that is. I don't know.
Ted Waite. So that's possible. That's possible. That is possible. But she clearly was like, okay, I don't like the direction these questions are going. That's a really good explanation.
He's the co-founder of Gateway Computers.
That's a pretty good explanation. This right here that Tom Colby's coming up with.
Why was Ted Waite invited? No, never mind.
She wiped the guest list with the cloth. She is the queen of stupid answers. So, yeah. Anyhow, she said she never, as far as she recalls, she never met Jeffrey Epstein. But Benny Johnson saying, I'm not so sure about this. I'm not so sure about that. Hillary says she never met Jeffrey Epstein, but emails with Jeffrey Epstein say that's not true. Quote, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. Meetings with Hillary are not easily discreet. When? I know you're close with Hillary, but if she gets a nomination, you vote for her, I'll effing kill you. I would like to invite you to attend a very intimate fundraising event with Hillary Clinton. So, yeah, this one is someone telling Jeffrey Epstein. So to be fair, this is from someone to Jeffrey Epstein, claiming that it's from Jeffrey Epstein saying the car will pick you up. He was on 85 and 5th. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's. I'm not sure. This one, to column from Jeffrey Epstein. Me with Hillary are not easily discreet when. So he clearly knows how to meet her.
And do you really think that Clinton's wedding, Clinton was protected by the Secret Service? Clinton's going to be there. The Secret Service would know every person that was coming to that wedding.
That's probably true, but maybe she was listed as Ted Waite's girlfriend and put on the list.
They're still going to do background checks on everybody coming.
Someone sent to Jeffrey Epstein, I know you're close to Hillary, but if she gets the nomination, you vote for her, I'll effing kill you. I think I converted Frog from liberal, or maybe BO did. Leslie Groff, from Leslie Groff to Jeffrey Epstein. I want to invite you to attend a very intimate fundraising event with Hillary Clinton from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. This was in 2015. Please RSVP. Yeah. So it's not so clear that she never met him. No one can prove that she has yet, and I think she's confident that no one will be able to prove it. That's why she makes that statement of "I don't recall." Here's Benny Johnson weighing in about his activities today.
I just pissed off
a real picture. Hold on.
What was that?
Hold on. I got a picture. Can you hear me?
It's a fake picture.
That's a fake picture of Jeffrey Epstein and them together?
Pulling the tie? Yeah, it's a fake picture.
Badly, she stormed out of her Epstein deposition, and I'm not suicidal. Here's how this all went down. We're trending nationally right now. Millions of news articles written about this photo that I posted. There's nothing wrong with this photo. I mean, I don't think Hillary Clinton looks great in it. It was taken by Lauren Boebert. She's a member of the Oversight Committee. She's deposing Hillary Clinton in a closed-door setting.
This, by the way, in this photo, she displays that whole Dolores Umbridge type of looking like a toad type of thing.
Today in New York. Now, Lauren Boebert sent me this photo and told me I could publish it just to kind of show everyone that Hillary Clinton is testifying. It's not a big deal. This is what Hillary Clinton looks like. But her entire team lost their minds over this and started screeching about this. She even sent out her press flax to go attack me. Listen to this.
If you look on your Twitter feed, you know who it came from?
It came from Benny Johnson. He said Lauren Boebert gave it.
Yeah, look at Benny Johnson's feed.
Yeah, go follow Benny Johnson. Thank you for your endorsement, Team Hillary. Yikes. I hope the cameras are working when I'm in federal prison. And the point is that there's nothing wrong with posting this photo. The Clintons themselves were the ones who demanded that there be media inside of the room. They wanted this all to be live streamed on TV. So what's wrong with this? They're just looking for an excuse to get out of this testimony. That's what's actually going on. And the reason why Hillary Clinton's freaking out and having her team go and run to the press and attacking me is because she doesn't want to have to answer the actual tough questions. She's already lied, by the way. She said that she didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, that's what she said in this testimony, this little note that she put out before she testified. But that's, like, not true. Not only did her husband, of course, have Jeffrey Epstein at the White House a million times, fly in his plane a million times, but also Ghislaine Maxwell was involved in Hillary Clinton's pet projects. Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. And Jeffrey Epstein's own emails show that he knew her. Multiple times in Jeffrey Epstein's emails, he talks about what Hillary Clinton looks like up close. He talks about meetings with Hillary Clinton. All these people are emailing Jeffrey Epstein saying, hey, man, we know that you know Hillary Clinton. Can you get me a meeting with her? That's in the emails. So this seems like an obvious lie, and this is what they're trying to distract from, because I posted a photo. It's not going to work. I just want to let you all know I'm not suicidal. But we did piss off Hillary Clinton today.
Oh, yeah. I guess we could get the Clintons on any one of their... they could eventually face repercussions if we get evidence about some of their illegal associations to people disappearing kind of thing, which there are dozens of people who they've celebrated them being laid to rest, including maybe Jeffrey Epstein. Who knows? That was the first when Jeffrey Epstein was killed. That was the first suspect was literally Hillary Clinton. So maybe that's why they brought her in. What do you know about his murder? That would have been a great question. What do you know about Jeffrey Epstein's murder? Tell us about that. Tell us about that, Hillary. That would be a great question.
You want to pull up my screen? You got a rant.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that when it came in just a minute ago. Zellian saying, Joe, it makes sense that she's met him. Have you ever not met someone your wife has gone on trips with? Has anyone not met someone who kept meeting with their husband/wife? Yeah, okay. So she's met him and he's given her millions of dollars. So there's that too. He's made her richer than you will ever be. Yeah, I mean, there's that element also. So, but people are saying that she got caught lying and she was looking to get out of there. Which
maybe.
So this is what Wall Street Apes is reporting here. Hillary Clinton says she never met Jeffrey Epstein under oath. Hillary Clinton storms out because a photo of her was taken and posted on social media. Here's what happened. No one cares if a photo was taken. She got caught lying and needed literally any excuse to run.
Is over hours from now, but the Associated Press is reporting Hillary Clinton in testimony says, and she's under oath, she has no information on Epstein's criminal activities and never recalls meeting him. Jason.
That may be true, but I think the question is, what about the money? I think what you're going to see from this, again, no allegation of necessarily breaking the law, but what about the money? I think the money trail is the primary question, or one of the questions that the Clintons are going to ask. Hillary Clinton's going to be asked. Donations that went into the Clinton initiative. What about the Global Foundation? And what were the introductions? Because the soft power of having a former Secretary of State or having a First Lady making introductions, opening doors, there are going to be a lot of questions about that.
Is over hours from now.
I don't actually see that. Can you explain what the picture is?
Unless we just saw that clip.
If you look on your Twitter feed, you know who it came from?
It came from Benny Johnson. He said Lauren Boebert gave it.
Yeah, look at Benny Johnson's feed.
So, yeah, I don't know that she said something that people were looking at that was, terrible for her. And I was doing a quick scan right before I went live here of different clips related to this. where Nancy Mace says, I want to thank my GOP colleagues for trusting me with a generous amount of time today to question Secretary Clinton on her ties to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm not suicidal. Ties to my car were recently rotated. All of my security cameras work. The three people most mentioned, this is the left is screaming, oh, no, you need to ask questions about Donald Trump. This is the stupidest thing in the world. I had some clown in here earlier, my regular clown. What's his name? Paulie or whoever who's in here, who's saying, now let's see Trump answer these questions. They're so desperately trying to smear Trump. The latest smear of Trump came from NPR a few days ago, where they say Justice Department withheld and removed some Epstein files related to Trump. This is the files. The Justice Department has withheld some Epstein files. Some files not made public despite a law mandating it. NPR reviews multiple sets of unique serial numbers. Let's see what they got here. There was this one thing. Do they have? Let me see if I can find it here quick, because I don't want to go through this whole lengthy article. Of a woman who came forward and this is it. The woman who directly named Trump in her abuse allegation claimed that around 1983, when she was around 13 years old, Epstein introduced her to Trump. This is the main claim that the left is freaking about. Oh my God, I told you he's a pedo. The woman who directly named Trump in her abuse allegation, you're going to hear all the reasons that this story, as presented by NPR, is utter bunk.
This isn't that like Trump didn't meet Epstein until like 89 or something like that, or 9. It's like way later. It's evident. The
woman who directly named Trump in her abuse allegation claimed that around 1983, when she was 13 years old, Epstein introduced her to Trump, who subsequently forced her head down to his exposed penis, which she subsequently bit. In response, Trump punched her in the head and kicked her out. Out of more than 3 million pages of files released by the Justice Department in recent months, this specific allegation against Trump appears only in copies of the FBI list of claims and a DOJ sideshow. The review of the FBI case logs and discovery documents turned over to Maxwell attorneys in the criminal case against her point to one place the claim could not have come from and how serious the investigators took it, how seriously they took it. You want to know how many problems there were in this claim? How stupid this claim was? The FBI interviewed this Trump and Epstein accuser 4 times. And every time they realized that she was loonier and loonier. Only the first interview conducted July 24, 2019 is in the public database. That interview does not mention Trump. Of 15 documents listed in the log of Maxwell discovery material for this first accuser, only 7 are in the Epstein files database. And let's look at all the problems with this accusation. The salacious allegation that NPR, this is from Greg Price, that NPR reported today about President Trump is so utterly ridiculous that NPR should feel ashamed for publishing it. Here's what they left out of their story. The woman, who was in an interview for the first time by the FBI in 2019, claimed she was, so this is now, 26 years later? 26 years later. Sorry, 36 years later. That she claimed that she was 13 in 1983 when her mother put her out an ad for her to be a babysitter, and that Jeffrey Epstein lured her to a house in South Carolina on the promise of a babysitting job. She says Epstein then gave her cocaine and alcohol before forcing her into oral sex. It was in the later FBI interview that she made her allegations against President Trump. Now, that story is so uncredible for several reasons. Epstein never had a residence in South Carolina. He was never in South Carolina. Epstein was known to never do alcohol or drugs. And every other allegation against him starts with massages, not drug-fueled sexual acts. There was also another bizarre moment which identified Epstein using a photo that she claimed she needed to crop in order to not implicate another individuals. It turned out to be a widely circulated photo of Trump and Epstein. On top of that, the woman's lawyer who set this whole interview up is Lisa Bloom, who is also responsible for the BS Katie Johnson allegation that was left out of court in 2016. It's clear that NPR's intention here was to take completely non-credible allegation from the Epstein and slap a salacious headline on it to create a news cycle on the day of the State of the Union. This is her lengthy thing here, but yeah, I've never heard anyone claim that he was doing cocaine or alcohol with these.
They need to start prosecuting these people that come out and make up these claims and lies. And like, especially when the more I learned about like the whole thing, like it was a reporter who gave that woman Dershowitz's name and said, "Oh yeah, Dershowitz, say Dershowitz."
Oh yeah,
that's that. They have proof. They have the emails, so they know that that's where this whole thing has turned into Russia 2.0.
I agree with you, Joe. I don't think she's ever going to jail. I don't think she's ever going to go to jail. Not that she shouldn't, but yeah. And Eric Doherty shared this out today. I don't know if this is from today or not. I don't know. Maybe you can help clarify this for me. I don't remember seeing it before, but if some of you tells me that this is old, I apologize in advance, because some people share stuff. I haven't seen Eric share old stuff, so I'm going to trust him that this is really breaking and not something that was breaking 6 months ago. Anna Polina Luna just confirmed that the victims cleared President Trump of Epstein wrongdoing. The left was exposed. We asked the victims specifically on whether or not President Trump had hurt them, and he was exonerated. He released the files, and they don't want to report that.
Trump has said the same thing, and yet the way that the deeds were brought forward, well, remember, President Trump has said the same thing, and yet the way that the DNC, the way that the Democrats are trying to use this is to smear the president. And I actually brought this up in the press gaggle today, in that we've asked the victims specifically on whether or not President Trump had hurt them, and he was exonerated. He released the files, and they don't want to report that. What they want to try to do is take this and have us say on record whether or not we will subpoena the president to come testify, in which I respond, the president is not considered a person of interest in this investigation. He's been nothing but cooperative, at least with us and members of the task force. And I think that his record will reflect that he has released all files. It was also interesting to note that we inquired on how many files did President Biden release. The answer is 0.
You're right. Well, keep up the heat. Everyone's
were brought forward. Well,
so there you go.
I mean, here's the thing too that everyone's got to remember, like there's been a lot of speculation that Trump was an informant or a whistleblower, whatever, ratted out. Epstein thought Trump ratted him out. There's emails of that. But if there was any proof of that, that would be not released, because they don't release information about informants.
Right. It's true.
They don't. They have something that they're not going to release. People who, were an informant, they never do that.
Mm-hmm. But we're 90 minutes in, and there are other people, other elites who are in the crosshairs. But I think perhaps we should start talking about folks who are in the presser for their Epstein ties, because there's a whole bunch of people who are feeling the nooses tightening, as rightfully so. Rightfully so. I want every one of these people exposed, humiliated, and where possible, prosecuted. So
some of these people have some strange ties to Hillary Clinton.
Well, there's always that, but maybe they just like eating pizza together. So maybe you could pull up the some of the other the other folks who are now in the hopper, facing serious pressure over their extensive ties to this slime ball, Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just doing a quick check here, making sure I didn't miss anything, because I'm while you're pulling that up, because I'm always terrified that that's going to happen. So just want to make sure we cover that. I think we're good. I did a quick look around now, and I'm going to pull up your screen.
Hold on a second. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. All right. We can start with Bill Gates, I guess.
Bill Gates apologizes to his staff for his Epstein ties, admits having affairs with 2 Russian women. Surprise, surprise. I'm surprised there's only 2.
I mean, they make it smaller?
Yeah, well, on this thing, just a little bigger?
Hold on.
One bigger?
Let me see if this works. Hold on.
Can you adjust your...
Hold on. Let's wait. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. Nope. Whoa. You're going to have to make it a little smaller. There you go. Turns out billionaire Bill Gates has made a mea culpa in front of the staff of his foundation over his Jeffrey Epstein ties, going as far as admitting having affairs with 2 Russian women. But before we get into this new report, we can ask ourselves, was that all there was to it? Because Epstein was not only a sex trafficker, he was also a power broker and fixer to the super elites. And over the years, it has been widely reported that Bill Gates would have associated with Jeffrey Epstein in order to pursue or leverage influence to win a Nobel Prize, often mentioned as the Peace Prize. You can find this reported in the New York Times, Fox News, UK's The Times, People Magazine, Daily Beast, Associated Press, and many, many other outlets. But is this true? Take a look at this 2018 photo. What do we got here?
Well, it's Bill Gates, and Epstein's in the middle. I can make it a little bigger. I don't know who the rest of the people are.
I think that's Les Wexner on the end, isn't it?
It might be all the way to the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bill Gates. I don't know who the other 2 guys are. Does it say maybe on the bottom? It shows
Bill Gates and a whole bunch of names you never heard. Terj Rod Larson, Jeffrey Epstein, Gates advisor Boris Nikolai, and Thorben Jagland. Okay. All right. Is that it?
No, there's more.
Oh, goody. You got to change the. You
I
got to change
it again. Back again.
Yeah.
Wait, where'd it go?
The former diplomat and politician, Terj Rod Larson, was at that time the president of International Peace Institute, and Thorbjorn Jagland is the former prime minister of Norway. Up until 2015, he was the chairman of the Norwegian Nobel Committee. At the time that this picture was taken, Jagland was the Secretary General of the Council of Europe.
Well, that says the Norwegian prime minister was hospitalized after being criminally charged with ties to Epstein.
Oh, really?
We can read that later. I didn't even know that story. Kind of connection.
This is the kind of connection Gates was reportedly seeking much more than any Russian girls. The truth is, by the way, the guy is freaking Bill Gates, right? I mean, he has more money than anyone. So, yeah, you can sort of figure that he doesn't need a hookup to get Russian girls if he was so inclined, right?
Yeah.
Quote, Bill Gates this week admitted to having 2 affairs with Russian women while married to Melinda French Gates and apologized to staff at his charity for his past ties to sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know why he's apologizing to them. It's none of their damn business. While maintaining he was not part of anything illicit. I did nothing illicit other than having an affair. And I saw nothing illicit other than when I was having that affair or those affairs. The billionaire philanthropist, I love how they love calling him a philanthropist, and a philanthropist who wants to basically control the world. That's not philanthropy. That's basically brokering your money to get power. But the billionaire Microsoft co-founder said in a town hall for his Gates Foundation on Tuesday, February 24th, according to a recording reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. The event was reportedly a previously scheduled town hall with employees. Quote, Bill answered questions submitted by foundation staff and on a range of issues, including the release of the Epstein files, the foundation's work in AI, and the future of global health. Scrutiny has been renewed around Gates' past ties to Epstein, who died in federal custody in 2019 after being accused of human trafficking because a trove of documents released by the DOJ showed draft emails Epstein wrote himself in which he accused Gates of contracting a sexually transmitted infection from Russian girls, then asking for Epstein's help in order to hide it from his then wife. So scummy.
That's that story.
Yeah. That doesn't make him look too good. Does not make him look too good.
The Washington Post just said, or I'm sorry, New York Post just says Bill Gates admits he had 2 affairs with Russian women. So that's that. And then we got this story.
How do I help hide my herpes from my wife?
I'll try to close this out. Okay. Clinton's Treasury Secretary. So the Treasury Secretary under Clinton had to resign from Harvard over his Epstein's ties.
Larry Summers. Goodbye, Larry. Goodbye. Larry Summers. Repercussions from Larry Summers' Epstein connection escalate as he's about to sever ties with his alma mater. We have been reporting on the Gateway Pundit, in fact, for over 7 years, about the damaging ties between late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein and former Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton, Larry Summers. Oh, I didn't realize he was Treasury Secretary for him. But since last November, the world of the former Harvard president started to unravel rapidly, as you can read it in these
stories. There's like a bunch of stories.
Yes. Larry Summers opened his class today by addressing the shame he feels about what he did with Epstein. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. I want to see it.
I'm going to boost the volume.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. And so, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class.
So today, 25, reports arise that Summers will resign from the university where he studied 50 years ago and rose to the presidency over his Epstein dealings. Summers will retire at the end of the academic year, but will remain on leave until then. A Harvard spokesperson said in a statement, Summers stepped back from his public commitments in November after the release of messages between him and the late convicted sex offender. He also resigned from the board of AI company OpenAI and numerous other positions at such places as Bloomberg News, New York Times, and all these other leftist rags like the Center for
American Progress.
Center for American Progress. Like you can, such a freaking stinking leftist.
It should be called the Center for Communist Progress.
Yeah. So he's forced to step down. Another one. I made the difficult decision to retire from my Harvard professorship at the end of this academic year, Summers said in a statement Wednesday. She'll leave in disgrace. I'll always be grateful to the thousands of students and colleagues whose brains I twisted and fomented into being crazy liberal leftists. I've been privileged to propagandize my crap to the world, and since coming to Harvard as a graduate student 50 years ago. He didn't actually say those words if you're just listening. He added, free of formal responsibility as president emeritus and a retired professor, I look forward in time to engaging in research, analysis, and commentary on a range of global economic issues. Yeah, everyone wants to hear your commentary, you filthy perv. That's what everyone wants. He's the one who went to Epstein for advice on how to pick up young girls, right?
Yeah.
And creep.
Yeah, there's also like...
Yeah, we really need your advice. We really need your advice.
It's also kind of like Ehud Barak also, or Ehud Barak. He also was Ehud. He was also prime minister of Israel while Bill Clinton was presidency. And it's kind of, and so, right?
I think that ties in.
I think, you know what I'm saying?
He was the head of Mossad at a certain point. Also, yeah. He was a very powerful individual. He was. And he should be ashamed as well.
All right, and here we go. This one.
I think that. Let's go forward. World Economic Forum CEO Borge Brend quits over Jeffrey Epstein ties. Who's this guy? The president and CEO of the WEF quit Thursday over his ties to late financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. I'm loving it. Former Norwegian Foreign Minister Borge Brend resigned after the DOJ's latest batch of Epstein files showed that he attended dinners at the Creep's Manhattan home in 2018 and 2019, where we know he got lots of massages there. Brend said he decided to go after careful consideration so that the World Economic Forum, the annual shindig for the global elite held in the Swiss town of Davos, can continue its important work without distractions. It's important work of trying to take over the world. The 60-year-old previously said he was completely unaware of Epstein's past and criminal activities until he went to his house and had a great gala time over there. Epstein, a jet-setting financier who was arrested on sex trafficking charges in July 2019, died in jail, with officials ruling that it was a suicide. He pleaded guilty in 2008 to solicitation of prostitution with a minor age under 18. He's like, I'm completely unaware of his past. Dude, you were in his house like years after he was a registered sex offender, you disgusting, gross human being. So just cut the crap. I didn't know. WEF co-chairs Andre Hoffman, a Swiss billionaire, and Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, announced the leadership shakeup. They said an internal review had found no additional concerns beyond what has been previously disclosed. His latest blow to the WEF after the departure of its founder and former chair Klaus Schwab amid allegations surrounding the forum's workplace culture in April last year, when he was like, "We will bring you to your knees as we control the entire economy. You will be eating the bugs. You will enjoy it. You will not own your home anymore. And we were going to start here in the workplace." He was cleared of wrongdoing after an investigation. Yeah, cleared. Who did he pay? I don't know. I'm just speculating. The World I don't have facts beyond what you have on that. The World Economic Forum is held in the Swiss Alps every January. It attracts titans from global politics for whatever sick thoughts they have, finance, business, and sports, who discuss what they see as hot topics for the coming year. Also known as, hey, how can we better crush poor people? Critics say the gathering in neutral Switzerland is nothing more than a shadowy, elitist talking shop that is detached from the lives of ordinary people. Gee golly, you think? Fink openly mused last month about a change of venue for the flagship event because even holding it in Davos, some rich resort town, kind of shows what you're all about. Considering locations such as Detroit, yeah, that's quite a change from Davos, Dublin, Jakarta, and Buenos Aires. I don't think they're coming to Detroit anytime soon. Brand is the latest high-profile name to be toppled over his ties to Epstein. Former Norwegian Prime Minister Thorbjorn Jagland was hospitalized Tuesday after a suicide attempt amid an Epstein-linked corruption investigation. Wow.
You can pull that up. I can pull that up. Story if you want.
Wow. He's like, he can't meet his maker soon enough. Britain's ex-Prince Andrew also stripped of his royal titles by Buckingham Palace after fresh details about his close relationship with Epstein emerged. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, no longer Prince Andrew, was arrested last week on suspicion of his conduct in public office, again linked to Epstein.
That's the end of that one.
So. Wow. If you need a break from this, would you consider a 3-minute video, White Liberal News, episode 129 from Nothing Was Learned channel? I find them very funny. I think you might like them. White Liberal News. I assume it's on YouTube. Let me see if I can find that. White Liberal News, episode 129. Nothing was leered. Nothing was leered. I'm going to check them out.
Well, here's something Jeffrey Epstein related. It says that the Bill Gates and Fauci pre-planned.
Give me 1 minute. Let me just grab this real quick. Peaceful constitutional standing military legal justice system, rescue of innocents via convened military tribunal authority. This is what he said to me yesterday, and I was like, peaceful constitutional standing military legal justice system rescue. I don't know what he's saying. He sent this to me yesterday, and I still haven't figured out what it means. Do you have any idea what this means?
Yeah, I don't understand a lot of what he says. He's very committed to something about the Order of Malta, though. So I'm trying to, I think, fight it.
I literally have no idea. Key to Trump Epstein scandal is Jean-Luc Brunel. As the 80s ended, names in New York City fashion knew about Jean-Luc, Diane Sawyer, ex Ivana, and the Don knew. I don't know. I the name rings a bell, Jean-Luc Brunel, but I don't know anything about what you're inferring here. I don't know if you're right or wrong. I have no idea what you're actually inferring because I don't know about Jean-Luc Brunel. Should I try checking up Jean-Luc Brunel and Epstein and see what the heck that Jean-Luc Brunel Epstein. He's a French model scout and alleged sex trafficker. He gained prominence by leading the international modeling community.
I think he was involved. He's involved with Lex Wexner, if I'm not mistaken. There was something. He was providing Victoria's Secret models or something, or doing something. I think so.
He died in 2022.
There was some connection there.
He was supposedly 100 times worse than Maxwell. What do you got there?
Well, can you read it or no?
Please, I feel like I'm getting another exam here. Please find attached.
Well, just read who it's to. Jeffrey Epstein, preparing for pandemics. All right. Please find the attached draft agenda for the meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. Let's discuss next steps for how to officially involve the WHO and ICRC, i.e. co-branding. Best regards. I hope we can pull this off.
That's totally Bill Gates, right?
Yeah.
That's in 2015. That's totally Bill Gates.
Dun, dun, dun.
Common Ground saying, I find consolation knowing that while Hillary will evade the law, she'll never rid herself of the taint.
Oh, I don't want to picture her taint.
I knew it was coming. I think this was where he was going with this. I think that's where he was going. She'll never get rid of the taint. Yes, the taint is strong with her. Former Norwegian Prime Minister Thorbjørn Jagland hospitalized after being criminally charged for his ties to Epstein. He was charged. His lawyer denies reports he attempted suicide. Whoa. The release by the US DOJ of the Epstein files has hit the Scandinavian kingdom of Norway like a storm. Besides all the damaging information that surfaced about the Crown Princess Mette-Marit's case, close ties to late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, former Norwegian Prime Minister Thorbjørn Jagland found himself criminally charged for gross corruption. But that's not all. Today, the Norwegian press was rocked by unconfirmed reports that Jagland was hospitalized a week ago after a suicide attempt. His attorney, Anders Brosvit of Eldon Law Firm, has come forward to confirm he is indeed hospitalized, but denied that any suicide attempt has taken place. The initial report said that on the 17th of February, the press at the Norwegian Association of Editors and selected Norwegian editors reportedly agreed with Jagland's lawyer, Brosvit, to cover up this tragic event. Wow. This is a guy he knows that he's cornered. That's like a cornered dog.
There's like always a lot of suicides around the Clintons.
This one I wouldn't blame on Hillary. Quote, it is on the basis of a rock-solid source that Injetter chooses to publish what happened a week ago. According to the source, Jagland's condition is serious. The source does not want to disclose which hospital is now treating the top politician. On February 12th, Thorbjørn Jagland was charged with gross corruption in connection with his close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. At the same time as Jagland was charged, the police carried out an extensive search of Jagland's properties, including an apartment in Oslo and in Risør. When the police raided an apartment in Oslo, a large press corps had turned up. What does that say in the email?
It says, yes, terrible times. If Trump wins in the U.S., I'll settle on your island. This is what he wrote to Jeffrey Epstein in June of 2016. Before that, I'll be in New York in September. Lots of things to talk about.
Oh yeah, see, Trump. Another time that Trump's mentioned in the Epstein files.
Yeah, see, this is what he's mad. It's all people bitching about Trump and complaining about him. And a lot of the accusations against Trump came in like in 2024, 2025, like after Epstein was dead.
Yeah, can you share this link with me?
The link to this article?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to save that and tweet this out.
In the studio chat.
All right, thank you.
I think this is also the guy who gave Obama the Nobel Prize before he even did anything, just by being elected.
Nice. To be able to investigate this corruption case, the Ocokrim Central Unit for the Investigation and Prosecution of Economic and Environmental Crimes sent a letter to the Council of Europe asking for Yaglin's immunity to be waived. This immunity was lifted the day before the searches took place. In a letter from Ocokrim to the Council of Europe, it emerged that Yaglin and his immediate family several times in the period between 2011 and 2018 used Epstein's private apartments in Paris and New York, as well as stayed at Epstein's villa in Palm Beach, Florida. However, Yaglin's lawyer has since issued a press release denying the suicide attempt reports that have taken social media by storm. Wow.
Probably why this Trump didn't get the Nobel Prize either. This guy hates Trump.
Yeah. VG reported Brosveed states that the admission comes as a result of the strain on Yaglin in the wake of the revelations about his contact with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Brosveed also denies news reports in, among others, Inyeter and Fiat. Oh, good lordy. Finanzfianzien on Tuesday that Yaglin attempted to take his own life. The information has now been made public about Yaglin's health situation, does not imply accuracy, said Brosveed in a press release. The law firm has subsequently issued. Yeah, okay. I think we're good.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
I do want to check on my poll that I put up. Interesting. So this poll comes out. I had a poll up there with 455 votes. My feelings on Kash Patel: high as ever, damp it but still strong, ugh, disappointment, or dog, scrap him. The winner of this poll is ugh, disappointment with 31%. Damp it but still strong coming second at 27%, high as ever 24%, and dog, scrap him is 18%. What was fascinating to me about this poll that I had in my community, I never had a poll that came out like this. Look at these numbers.
Oh, like pretty much even across the board.
Is that crazy?
That is crazy.
I saw that. I was like, holy moly. Like they couldn't, if they were trying to make it even. America is so split.
It's basically 52-48. But
it's like, but it's even amongst, like, you know, the ones who like or dislike, it's like evenly split. You never see, I've never seen anything remotely like this in any one of my polls. All my polls always have like one side that's going to be like, you know, much higher than everything else. I mean, this is as close as it ever normally gets, you know, and that's, you know, people just collecting Joe needs more options here. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. Which I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens here. And it's pretty close here too. It was pretty close in the tonight's poll here. 455 votes. 455 votes. Why is this so? I want to close that out. I did close it out. I'm told to check my supers. What do you mean check my supers? I did check my supers.
There's nothing. I don't see anything in the rants. Just the two.
Mr. Mike is saying, I read your super chat, Mr. Mike. I was asked to check something out, and I am hoping to check that out. But, yeah, I don't know what. Oh, here it was. Search Jean-Luc Brunel, Diane Sawyer, 60 Minutes. This sounds like it's going to be a rabbit hole, which is going to take me like 2 hours to go through. This is not like a 5-minute thing like the Yoglin story. I'm sure he's a creepy guy, this Jean-Luc Brunel. Jean-Luc Brunel. Diane Sawyer, 60 minutes. This was going to be like a 30-minute report on him?
You heard about the people that got killed by the Cubans, right?
No.
You didn't hear about the story about the people that got killed by the Cubans?
No.
What happened yesterday? There was a boat.
I've been very busy.
The Cubans shot up the boat, killed 4 people, 6 are injured, and they arrested them, and most of them are American citizens. They're claiming they were trying to do an armed invasion. That's what the Cubans are saying, but Rubio's saying they're investigating.
What happened?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, when I do this search here that you asked me to do, Mr. Mike, this is what I get. It's a whole documentary. Now, there is this article from The Guardian. Six women are being abused by fashion agent Jean-Luc Brunel. He killed himself in prison in February while awaiting trial for rape. This is back in 2022. 6 former models speak out about him and his friend Jeffrey Epstein in an industry that seemed to turn a blind eye. It's horrible. Horrible. I believe him. I'm not going to go through this whole article. And he probably was worse. I have no doubt. No doubt it's true. Freaking monsters. Horrible. I'm sure he's burning deep in hell. Cash went in, wet behind the ears? Possibly. I mean, I think so. You would think that he had enough of a background in D.C. from serving in Trump's first administration that he shouldn't have been wet behind the ears.
What did you think about him getting picture taken or the video of him drinking, pounding the beers with the hockey team?
I have no problem with that. I know. Why, you got a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with him doing it. I have a problem with them letting it get videotaped.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
This was a huge moment. It was a huge moment. I don't have a problem with it. He's not the president.
Cuban authorities say its border guards killed 4 people on a Florida-registered speedboat that entered Cuban waters yesterday morning. In a statement, Cuba says when border guards approached the vessel for identification, the crew of the violating speedboat opened fire on the Cuban personnel, resulting in the injury of the commander of the Cuban vessel. It happened just off of Cuba's north coast. Cuba says 6 people on board the boat were injured and that the occupants were Cubans residing in the U.S. Authorities also detained 1 suspect inside Cuba in connection with the incident.
So this morning, we were made aware by Cuban authorities of an incident off the coast of Cuba. We immediately began to look into it. As it stands now, the Department of Homeland Security, the Coast Guard, others are involved. The majority of the information we still possess is what Cuban authorities are providing both the public and the U.S. government. We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents. According to the Cuban regime, that the boat was registered in Florida. We're tracking that down. We will know shortly, and we will know quickly, many more facts about this incident than we know right now. The majority of the facts being publicly reported are those by the information provided by the Cubans. We will verify that independently, and as we gather more information, then we'll be prepared to respond accordingly. I'm not going to speculate, because I'm not going to opine on what I don't yet know, but we're going to find out exactly what happened here, and then we'll respond accordingly. But suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out. We're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us. And I'm very, very confident that we will know the full story of what happened here, and we will know it soon. And then, we'll respond appropriately based on what that information tells us. We do have constant contact with them at the Coast Guard level, where they notify the U.S. Coast Guard on a variety of things, including migrants and so forth. That there's these mill-to-mill, I guess, Coast Guard to Coast Guard channels that exist. And this reporting early on was fragmentary about an incident, but not the details. They provided more details in the social media post they put out, as well as a notice they sent to the embassy, or from their embassy to the State Department. But in it is embedded all sorts of facts, or things that they claim to be facts, such as where the ship came from, where the boat came from, who was on it, what happened, and so forth. These are the things we're going to independently verify, and then, we'll present that to the policymakers in our country, including the president, and we'll make determinations based on the facts. Right now, we're still gathering facts.
Whatever they were trying to do to facilitate the freedom of the Cuban people, I absolutely applaud it. Anything against the Cuban government, I'm
for people?
Because I'm for the Cuban people.
It was 10 people on a boat. 4 were killed, 6 have been captured. And but something don't make sense. Like, it was a 24-foot boat, 10 people on it. Something doesn't make sense. Like, I thought maybe they were smuggling people off of Cuba. Trying to smuggle people off.
Why would you bring 10 people for that?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense. Like, that's like that boat is overloaded with 10 people on it. 24-foot boat.
So you can't bring more people on.
Well, I thought originally when I heard it, that when it said 10 people, that maybe before they said it was America, I thought maybe they picked up people and they were bringing people to the, like to get them into Florida. But I don't know. There's other stuff, there's other parts of it like this. It's just, Florida registered boat allegedly involved in shooting, have links to Miami-Dade.
I don't think you're going to get more out of it, right?
Not until they're going to find out something. I mean, they will know, like, more than likely the boat had, it's like a service where it tracks your location. It sends out a ping and stuff where on the radar it gives your location. I would think, unless, well, maybe not if they were trying to go in and out of Cuba, but I don't know. Like, they said they had guns and stuff on the boat. I don't know. Like, but the original report I saw said that they were trying, like, they saw the boat and they were trying to stop the boat, and the boat wouldn't stop until they fired on it. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, they shot at us first. So, I mean, the question is going to be, they're going to have to talk to the survivors and see what happened.
I think it's too early to really weigh in with anything other than what the story itself is. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to weigh in with any sort of opinion when I feel completely ignorant, as I feel like the entire world is currently ignorant. Even Secretary of State Rubio is currently ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So, like, interesting story, but like, I don't know what to do with it beyond sharing that story publicly. I saw something about 10 people involved in a boat thing with Cuba, but I was like, I was too preoccupied with covering a million other things.
No, I know.
For the show.
You heard too about the Washington Post lost $100 million last year.
They lose money faster than Biden could lose children.
Man, I bet you Bezos is regretting that investment.
$100 million. It's delicious. Let's share this thing here. I had a request from Amazing Disgrace to check out this video. So let's give 3 minutes here. This wasn't what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So we're gonna check this out.
Good evening. This is white liberal news. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. We were fortunate enough to interview the president of Mexico, Gloria Steinberg. She's such a boss babe, too.
I don't know, but we interviewed her in Mexico City, and honestly, I don't see what all the commotion is about because our trip was super safe and easy.
The police were very nice and gave us an escort from the airport to the site of our interview, so we didn't have to worry about traffic.
I am so honored to have this opportunity to interview a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
I love how you don't take anything, even from tech bro billionaires.
It's irresponsible for Elon to say that.
There is not a single cartel that owns me fully.
Yeah.
I can speak for
That owns me fully. Yes.
That's the joke.
the rich white woman base. We love how you have turned down Olive Orange's offers. We want your country to know that we can handle everything on our own, as we've done for decades. We don't need intervention on our soil.
Ten mucho cuidado con lo que dices ahí dentro. Apégate al guión.
Entiendo. Our liberal viewers are less interested about the so-called cartel and what's going on.
And we really want to emphasize abrazos, no balazos. Or for our gringo friends, hugs, not bullets.
Yeah.
Todo está bajo control y necesitamos volver a nuestras políticas de paz.
We might edit that out. Don't worry.
So it seems you need to tell us something? Yes, I do. We want hugs, not bullets. Attacking terrorists is fascism.
We agree. In the U.S., we want a war against the war on crime.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
Fishermen in Mexico need these bank sanctions to stop immediately.
Entiendo. I think I was saying the best way to help is
Poor fishermen. The poor fishermen are really bothered by the bank sanctions.
for undocumented workers to send money back, right? That way their families can pay off the cartels when necessary.
Ten cuidado con lo que dices. Debes seguir el guión exactamente.
Entiendo. Look, I really just want to get into more about you because this whole situation you got going on is temporary.
Right.
However, many young women can learn how to be strong women like you.
But we can't talk about them opening the border if they focus on la violencia.
Yeah.
But
shouldn't it still be a talking point, no matter how minor?
I fear we have too many directives for her.
Yes.
We need to narrow the message.
Something about
Mexicans need free access to the U.S. to escape the violence we are causing.
I think
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Tip of the cap to you.
this arrangement will be much more efficient for our purposes.
Our meanie president labeled you all as terrorists. We want to know the important things, such as how does this make you feel?
It's a hard situation here, you know?
Yeah.
We have to eat.
Right.
Reporting the facts. This was such a great opportunity for me personally, but I hope you were able to learned something. Join us next time when we show how better India is than the U.S. for women, even though Indian women warn women not to go there.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Not bad at all. What is that channel? That channel is Nothing Was Leered. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Not a single cartel that owns me fully. There's not one. All right. I think it's time for us to start landing our plane. Do you have
I have one quick story.
Oh, yeah, one quick story?
Yeah, if you want to talk about.
We can do this real fast. Representative Ilhan Omar claims State of the Union guest was forcibly removed and arrested for standing during Trump's address. Boo-hoo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo. Representative Ilhan Omar said one of the guests she invited to State Union address on Tuesday was arrested and forcibly removed from the House gallery, and she was slammed the heavy-handed Capitol Police response. Go to hell. No one cares about you. My guest, Aliyah Rahman, stood up silently in the gallery during the president's speech for a short period of time, part of which other guests were also standing. You have to be my guest, Aliyah Rahman, stood up silently in the gallery during the president's speech for a short period of time, part of which other guests were also standing. For that, she was forcibly removed despite warning officers about her injured shoulders and ultimately charged with unlawful conduct.
Yeah, she invited one of the people who got arrested for interfering with ICE.
Yeah.
That's who this woman is.
I know she is. I know. Squad member 483 said reports indicate she was aggressively handled until someone intervened to secure medical attention. Oh, she always needs her medical attention. This woman's constantly needing her medical attention. She needs medical attention, but not the type she's seeking. Capitol Police confirmed Rahman was arrested on unlawful conduct charges reported by NBC News, but Omar blasted the police response, branding it as heavy-handed. I think that everything about her is heavy-handed. Everything about the way that she enunciates is heavy-handed. The heavy-handed response to a peaceful guest sends a chilling message about the state of our democracy. Shut up. Your stupid democracy, Somalia, by the way, her stupid democracy of Somalia, voter ID laws. Yeah. Only two things you can do at the State of the Union, and they are sit down and stand up, she told Democracy Now! I was arrested for standing up. Ugh, go to hell. This woman, I can't stand anything. She's one of the 5 people I really wish would just the gates of hell would just open up and finally swallow this bitch up. Just because she was arrested despite being much quieter than Republicans nearby. Yeah, the Republicans were cheering and you were sitting there screaming like a lunatic. Rahman, who has a torn rotator cuff, allegedly, claims she was arrested so physically that 2 other guests tried to intervene when she told cops about her injuries. 2 other guests, 2 other lunatics with you. And only when the segment's own sergeants intervene in a black stairwell, the police says, stop. We need to get her medical care in a wheelchair. She always needs a wheelchair. This woman.
Wait a minute. But how is she standing up if she needs a wheelchair? What the fuck's going on here? This doesn't make any sense.
They're like basically.
She is disabled. She's psychotic.
Yeah. This woman reminds me of every 1980s comedy where someone has the whiplash neck thing on and the braces and the and the crutches and the arm in a sling. She's gonna come. I can't. I'm so injured. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Omar was heard heckling Trump during the State of the Union and humiliated by him. Also invited Columbia Heights School Board member Mary Granlund, 20-year-old Mubashir Hussein, and the son of workers' rights organizer, whoever. Rahman's removal from the State of the Union came just over a month after she allegedly interrupted an immigration enforcement operation that was taking place less than a week after Renee Good was shot and killed. Thousands of officers were sent to Minneapolis. I don't care about this. This is
it's just all.
This is all just background stupidity. Yeah. All right. You want to share a link with me and tell people where they can find you?
Yes. You can find me on YouTube, Rumble, Locals, Kick, Twitch, X. What else? Facebook and Instagram, all under Jim Tells You.
Jim tells
you.
What does Jim tell you?
Jim will tell you like what the weather's like.
I want to know that.
All types of stuff.
He's going to tell you all sorts of types of stuff, all sorts of different types of stuff. Well, if you want to get caught up on the news, things that's happening around the world, go to the same source that Good Logic charges. Go to the same source that Good Logic trusts, and that is Jim Tells You. Because he hooks me up with so many good stories on a daily basis. And so if you enjoy a nightly show that's competing with mine at 10 p.m. Eastern, it's really
sometimes at 9. I usually try to not go at the same time as you go.
Oh my God, that's really funny. You want me to put this in my link? All right, so if you want a nightly show that's competing with mine and probably doing it a lot better, you need to check out Jim Tells You. You can go to www.youtube.com @Jim Tells You. That's www.youtube.com / @Jim Tells You. You can put that in. You can pin that in the description. I'm going to pin this in the thing here so that folks can find you. And yeah, it's pretty funny that you actually start like literally the same time that I've been.
I don't usually. I try. If you like, you usually start later. You start at like I should change it because I usually start at 9 now.
I was chastised a week ago, and this whole week I've been very good to start 10 o'clock every night. My God, I forgot.
And then like if I know you're starting at 10 or 9, I'll start at 11.
Stop for 1 second. Stop for 1 second. This is important. I almost forgot. This is important. Monday night, because that's the next time I'm scheduled to come, because we didn't hit our goal tonight, and that's okay. Love is exactly the same. Looking at more as disappointment. I'm kidding. Monday night, I'm not going to be here. Monday night is Purim. It's the holiday of Purim. Starts Monday night. Tuesday afternoon is when Purim ends. And I'm probably going to be drinking a lot on Purim. I'm definitely going to be in costume. When I come on this show on Tuesday, you're probably not going to recognize me. You're going to be like, what happened to Joe? Who's that guy? I don't even recognize that person. Likely, because my costume for this year, because we dress up and we have big parties, and I'm going to be in costume, and I'm probably going to come here very drunk on Tuesday. There's a really good chance I'm going to be very, very drunk when I come in here on Tuesday. It's my annual Purim show. It's not going to be Blueface. It's not going to be, I don't do the same costume twice. I don't do that. So I'm just telling you, I'm not telling you what my costume is. Viva is debating Michael Tracy about Epstein on Monday. Okay. Well, that should be interesting. Maybe I'll invite Ricada on. I'll see. Maybe. It's not the sunflower gun. No, I don't go back to the same costume twice. So I don't know if you're going to be able to recognize me. I probably won't recognize me either, because I do expect to be blitz drunk on Tuesday. But I'm not going to be here Monday. Maybe I'll stream Sunday. I'm not sure. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up. I will not be here on Monday. But
I
Tuesday,
will have a show. Friday,
he will have it.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't know about Sunday and Monday, actually. We'll see.
No, I'm not dressing up as Ilhan. And I'll just say one more thing. I'm not going to be wearing blackface. I'm not going to be wearing blackface, but I still don't think you're going to recognize me. So you all have to be here on Tuesday. I'll let you know in advance what time it's going to be. Figure around 7 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, are we changing the clocks this week?
I have no idea.
This is important.
I don't think so. I thought we already did that. Didn't we already do that?
No. When do we change clock? No, it's the week after. It's March 8th. Okay, fine.
Oh,
yeah. So 7 p.m. is a good it's going to be around then. And whatever time I schedule, I'm probably not going to be here exactly the right time, because I'm going to be drunk. So we'll see.
Can I make just a suggestion? Set up the stream before you start drinking.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I will. But then, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get here at the right time, because, like I said, I'm usually pretty drunk. So anyway, it's going to be fun. We'll have a good time. So and I'll obviously have a lot to cover if I'm not here before then, but I'm going to try and do a stream Sunday. We're going to try to do something on Sunday. Till next time, I hope you all have a phenomenal weekend. I thank you all for joining me, and I want to remind you that lab meat was never meant for you. It's meant for they, them, and do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Have a good night, everyone. As always, Godspeed.